It was night time on the island of Sodor, and all the engines on Sodor were going to sleep, except Ned and Patrick. They were still working hard at the quarry, when suddenly, what they didn't know was, Diesel 10, Derek, Diesel and Dodge were ready for their plan to take over the Sodor Railway. And they've brought in a new diesel engine as a replacement for Splatter, because Splatter had been scrapped by the Fat Controller last year, the year before last year, and now the new diesel's name was D199. He has a grey roof, a blue paint, and a yellow face, and the diesels were ready to take over. They broke into the quarry, and then Ned and Patrick were scared. "It's the diesels," said Patrick. "What do we do?" said Ned. "I'll attack him." "Ned, no," said Patrick, but it was too late. Pinchy battered Ned, and Ned was injured. "No," said Patrick, and then Pinchy battered Patrick too, and they were all unconscious and injured. But just then, an old man with a black top with blonde hair came to see the diesels. And then, "Clear," said Diesel. Well, thank you," said the person. "Are they unconscious?" "They are, sir," said Dodge. "Well, yeah, thanks for that," said the person, "because the reason, I'll tell you guys why I want them unconscious. It's because I don't like violence," he said. "Well, I understand," said Derek. "And now," said the controller, "to the old shed next door to Tidmouth Shed, and he showed them the map, and they all agreed to take over this shed, because this shed had never been used for a while. In morning time, Thomas was having fun. He was saying hello to his friends, and just then he said hello to Rosie. "Hello, Rosie," said Thomas. "Hello, Thomas," said Rosie. "Having a good day today?" "Sure am, Rosie," said Thomas, and with that, Thomas puffed away. He was enjoying himself. They were having a fun playtime, and just then, Murdoch was having peace and quiet on his own. "Hello, Murdoch," said Thomas. "Hello, Thomas," said Murdoch quietly, and Thomas said this to Murdoch. "Are you sad?" he said. "No," said Murdoch. "I'm having peace and quiet. So can you go now?" "Well, okay," said Thomas. "See ya," he said, and Thomas puffed away. Everyone were enjoying themselves. But just then, Dennis, however, was not enjoying himself. He had to shunt trucks all around the sites of Sodor. Dennis hated it, and just then he had another plan. There was the Fat Controller next to him, and Dennis blew steam at him. Coughed the Fat Controller. "Dennis," he said, "go now." "Okay, sir," said Dennis. Dennis said this to the Fat Controller. "You're always making me do jobs," he said. "Silence," said the Fat Controller. "And by the way," he said, "you're a diesel, and do you enjoy tormenting me? Do you hate me?" "Oh, I especially don't," said Dennis. "It's because you're always making me do jobs all the time," he said. "Well, you have to do them," said the Fat Controller, "or the railway will not look decorated and beautiful for the summer," he said. "Oh, great," said Dennis, and Dennis puffed away. Everyone were enjoying themselves. Later, everyone were enjoying themselves, but Thomas was bored and he didn't know what to do, so he did not know what to think of. But just then, he was still busy having his thankful moment with Rosie again. "I'm bored," said Thomas. "Are you really?" said Rosie. "Sort of," said Thomas, and he did not know why. But he doesn't know why at all. So he decided to speak.